to the Thought Snob Podcast. I'm Paula Swope. Let's get snobby. Today's episode is about how solutions kind of magically show up when you're aligned. Have you ever noticed that when you're calm, solutions seem to appear out of nowhere? Your day goes just a little bit better. Things go your way a little bit more. But when you're frantic, rushing, stressed, and just chaotic, everything feels harder. Things don't go your way. It spirals. Stupid stuff starts happening, okay? That's not an accident. That's alignment. So today's episode is about teaching you simple practices to help you align with the right energy source. And I designed this episode for beginners and for those of you who may have fallen off track and you want to get back on, or maybe you need a refresher. So first I'll explain exactly what it is that I mean by alignment. Alignment isn't mystical fluff. Alignment is when your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system, is activated more than your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight. Now, when you're calm, I'm going to say more than 80% of the time, more than likely, you're in alignment. When your energy is chaotic, reactive, and rushed, maybe 80% of the time, you absolutely are not in alignment. And when you're not aligned, you don't see clearly. You miss solutions. You overwork. You force, you push, you control, overthink. You make meaning out of things. And if you think about it, do any of these things ever really work? Not usually. And if they do, it's rare. Now, I meditate and I do breath work daily. Not occasionally, daily. I can't live without it. If I go too long without silence, without breath work, without grounding myself, I feel off. I mean, like just completely off balance. And I don't even like myself, and you don't want to be around me if I allow myself to get that off balance. Now, what works for me might not work for you, but you need something that turns that sympathetic nervous system down. Because when your body feels safe, your mind gets clear. When your mind gets clear, solutions show up without you having to search for them. Now, you've heard the saying, God works in mysterious ways. That is absolutely true. We're guided and protected by something way bigger than us, but chaos and noise disconnect us from that source. All of us have access to it regardless of religious beliefs, gender, race, socioeconomic status, whatever the case may be. This is where we're all equal. In my opinion, this is the only place where we are all equal. We always have access to this source. And when you finally surrender, stop forcing, and regulate your nervous system, your brain becomes capable of seeing what was already available to you in the first place. Now, solutions don't necessarily just drop from the sky. I mean, they can, but usually they show up as a conversation or a suggestion, a random idea, a person, a resource, a timing shift. But you have to be calm enough and mindfully aware enough to recognize it so you can seize the opportunity and take action before it passes you by. And I'll give you a great recent example. I have struggled with my weight for years. Anybody who knows me personally knows that. It's gone on since childhood. And in my natal chart, Jupiter is in my first house. And that placement can correlate with expansion in the body. And whether you believe in astrology or not, I have always had to work really hard to maintain my weight. So last year, I was carrying around about 15 to 20 extra pounds, and I was pretty exhausted with it and a little pissed off because I was exercising constantly, tough workouts, eating clean, just doing everything the right way, and I was still overweight and not eating what I wanted to eat anyway, and I was just fed up, and I wasn't desperate or chaotic. I was just fed up. I was ready for a solution, and I said, "All right, I'm gonna figure this out once and for all because I'm done. Like, I'm done suffering over this." And when I made that decision, I knew that the days of starving myself were over, but I also knew there had to be a solution. I was missing something, and I could feel it, and I was ready. So I decided to solve the problem without knowing how, and I just kind of let it go. And it was not long after that, maybe just a couple of days, out of nowhere, a friend tells me about retatrutide. Now, I did a podcast episode about retatrutide. It aired a couple, 3 months ago. If you're curious about retatrutide, check out that episode. I've come a long way since then, but you'll get a lot of information about retatrutide. So her doctor was overseeing her retatrutide journey, and she explained what it did metabolically. And everything she said just resonated. And so I did not hunt for a solution. I didn't obsess over a solution. It came to me through that conversation, and I took action. And as I sit here right now, I weigh less than I have in a decade. So that solution showed up when I was ready, but I had to recognize it and I had to move. And I put 137 as my ideal weight on my vision board probably a couple of years ago. And last week I got on the scale and I weighed 137 pounds, which puts me down, I'm going to say about 20 pounds since I started Retta back in October of 2025. Not a coincidence, okay? Chain of events. And it showed up because I was in alignment. Here's another example. At the beginning of this year, I started teaching vision board classes, and I realized that I had missed something in all of my planning. I realized that I didn't have enough magazines to offer my paying customers like a nice wide variety to choose from, and those are a necessity for vision board classes. And I started, trying to track down magazines, and I realized, God, magazines are pretty expensive these days, and I didn't want to dump more money into a brand new, business venture because I'd already spent enough. So I stopped stressing about it. And I was pulling into our subdivision one day, and you know what? I said to myself, I'm not gonna chase these magazines down. These magazines will show up. I don't know how, but they will. And I thank the universe, in advance for those magazines. And I just kind of let it go. Swear to God. The next day, people started bringing me magazines. Friends donated them. And then my business partner suggested a raffle. Bring magazines to the vision board class and we'll, enter you in to win a prize. Oh my God, it worked like a charm. We now have more magazines than we can count. They're stacked in boxes in my garage. Hundreds and hundreds of magazines, and the good ones too. So what I want you to see here is how alignment makes life smoother. In the past, I have killed myself to lose 20 pounds. That's not been the case this time. It's been fairly easy. I never thought I'd say that, but that's what alignment does. Now, here's another thing that happened last year. I got out of alignment because I'd packed my schedule too tight. I was rushing constantly. Rushing is the number one behavior that knocks me out of alignment. You got to be aware of what throws you off balance. For me, it's rushing. When I rush, stupid things happen. I cannot sleep. Insomnia steps in. I'm overstimulated. Technology glitches, miscommunications, mistakes, forgetting things. And it's because I'm not regulated. When I'm aligned, life feels kind of effortless and asleep. And I'm not talking about being lazy here. I mean, this isn't passive. It's effortless. I don't have to try as hard. Now, I want to give you some tools to play around with that will, help you get into alignment, and you don't need to buy anything. You already have what you need, and it's your breath, okay? You just got to use it the right way. So I've got 3 things for you. The first one is belly breathing. And I have taught belly breathing 1,000 times because it is bulletproof. So all you do is place your right hand on your belly, left hand on your chest. You're going to breathe through your nose, not your mouth. You're going to inhale, exhale through your nose. So you just breathe in, slowly through your nose, slower than you normally would. And on that inhale, your belly should come right out into your right hand. You should feel it expanding like a balloon. Your chest is going to be still. You're not going to have any movement in your chest. When you exhale slowly through your nose, and you'll feel your belly kind of just, deflate, move back in toward your spine. All the movement is in the belly. That's all you do. Do this for several rounds. Do this every day, and you will get great results. You feel yourself spiraling out of control, if there's a situation that's gone off the rails and that heart's beating and you're overthinking and you're frantic, if you can just be mindfully aware enough to stop and do that belly breathing exercise, things will figure themselves out. And when you do it, if you're in a place where you feel safe closing your eyes, then by all means do that, okay? And your nervous system will calm down almost immediately. And as you're doing it, drop your shoulders, soften your jaw, just relax. Might take a few rounds if you're worked up, but you will eventually calm down. And you can do this anywhere. I mean, you already breathe all day. Just change how you breathe, and that will turn down that fight, flight, freeze response and turn up your rest and digest, okay? Second practice. This one's called humming bee breath. Now with this one, you want to sit comfortably. You want to have your, spine tall. Your comfort's the most important thing, but, for this one, you want to, sit up straight and have good posture, and you want to close your eyes, and then gently with your fingers, close your ears, okay? You inhale through your nose, and then when you exhale, you are going to have like, kind of pursed lips like that. And so when you exhale, you're going to exhale with a steady humming sound like a bumblebee. So you inhale, close your ears with your fingers. Inhale, exhale. You'll feel that vibration in your chest. That vibration is powerful. That vibration stimulates your vagus nerve. That's your healing nerve. The vagus nerve activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay? When you stimulate your vagus nerve and you activate your parasympathetic nervous system daily, okay, you're going to get into alignment. All right? And then the third practice, this is a sensory awareness reset. So for this one, you want to start out, you want to close your eyes. And you can sit up or lie down really with any of these. You just do what feels comfortable. So you start out, just close your eyes. Notice your natural breath. Just connect with your natural breath. Just breathe as you normally would. And just notice how the inhale feels cooler air on the inhale. And the exhale, when you exhale through your nose, notice how the air feels a little warmer. Do this for a few rounds. And then listen what sounds are around you. Just really become aware of your environment. What do you hear? And then notice how your clothes feel on your skin, or how the air feels on your skin. And drop your shoulders, soften your jaw. Just kind of let your body melt into your chair. And when your mind calms and your body calms, then I want you to choose a word that clearly represents how you want to feel. Maybe it's peaceful, calm, healthy, abundant. Whatever word accurately represents how you would love to feel, okay? Choose that word. And then as you sit there with your eyes closed, breathing normally, in your calm and aware state, then envision that word in your mind. See it clearly in front of you, each letter. And then repeat it to yourself silently. And stay there for a few minutes. That's all you do. You can spend as much time as you want on it. Now, these 3 practices, these are, beginner-friendly alignment. You don't have to invest in anything. You don't really have to learn anything. You just have to remember to do it. If you practice daily, I promise you, your nervous system will recalibrate. It didn't get dysregulated overnight, and it won't get regulated overnight either, but it will if you stay the course. And you can think of it as you would lifting weights. Repetition builds strength. It builds muscle. Consistency with these practices, well, that builds alignment. And when you're aligned, you'll find that you don't chase solutions. They appear. But here's the key. You must be aware enough to take action when they do. And alignment doesn't mean just, sitting on the couch waiting for magic. It means you're calm enough to recognize opportunity when it arrives. If you feel chaotic most of the time, and I used to, I know how that feels, start small. Just start small. Start in increments. Small incremental changes produce, huge results if you stay consistent. And you do have time. You do have the time to do this. You can belly breathe in your car, or, before a meeting, or in the bathtub or the shower, or before you go to sleep at night. You're already breathing all day anyway. So why not, use it to your advantage? Your breath can transform your life if you let it. And I launched a virtual breathwork program last month, and the dates for my classes are on my website at paulaswope.com. The breathwork I teach in my virtual classes takes you on quite the journey if you allow it to. Take a look at my Google reviews and see what people say about those classes. People are experiencing transformative results, okay? So I'll sign off with this. When your nervous system feels safe, life starts cooperating with you instead of against you. And that's when the mysterious solutions just show up. And once you get a taste of that, it's hard to go back, okay? So that's all I have for today. I appreciate you being here with me, and I'll see you next week.
The Thought Snob Podcast with Paula Swope has been brought to you by Thought Snob Media in association with Special Purpose Studios. All production, mixing, and sound engineering by me, Will Swope. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please take a few seconds to give us 5 stars and leave a review. See you on the next Thought Snob Podcast with Paula Swope.